Hello again, I am Jim Bob. Welcome back to Big Bud Farm. And you catch me just as I'm about to deal with our sheep. Their food and water supplies are running very low, so I'm just going to quickly drop some bales down for them. We're up to around about 130 odd sheep now. So wool production is definitely speeding up. I've just loaded all 8 of the wool pallets that we have onto a trailer because I need the extra cash. Today we are going to be buying cows and getting our dairy business up and running. It's going to be the most effective way to combat our spiraling expenses. So that's that done there. We're a little low on water as well, but they'll survive for now. So here we go. You can see we have 8 pallets of wool on here. Not many really for a trailer this size, but yeah, it's not that long ago that we, since we last sold some wool, when we had a nice great demand for it. So we're going to go take this down to the spinnery, sell it off and raise some extra cash. Then we're going to completely drain the loan that I've just finished paying off, thanks to that harvesting job. I did also do a fertilising job on the same field not long afterwards, after I finished recording the episode. And that gave us an extra 95,000 or so, which is just as well because we kind of need that extra, need that extra cash to do what we're going to do today. So I'm going to take this down to the spinnery, we'll sell this off, and then we'll start investing in some new equipment. So here we are at the spinnery. Oh, this is a tight turn. Luckily this has a pretty good turning radius. So spin the truck around, let's back up, see how much money we can get for these pallets here. I'll make sure I've got them all in the sell box. Well, there we go. We raised around $50,000 there, which is good. We need every penny of that. There we go. That'll do. So obviously we're going to need our animal trailer so that we can actually transport all of our livestock that we have. I'd actually forgotten we had this when I was planning out this episode earlier. I was looking at how much it was going to cost to lease one, and then I thought, didn't I buy one of these? So I had to have a quick look around, and yes, here it is. So we'll park this just here. There we go. So equipment that we need to buy, we need, first of all, we need a tedder so that we can make hay. So I'm going to go with the Krona tedder, keep that Krona theme going that we have at the moment. So we're going to we're going to buy this one. We also need a merger, because these are awesome. Why wouldn't we use one of these if we had the opportunity to? So we'll buy one of those. It's a little expensive, but needs must. We also need a mixing station, and we're going to use this, the Selfline Compact. So let's buy one of those as well. Okay, and now we need to max out our loan. So you can see I just paid that off. Now I'm doing what I usually do as soon as I pay off my loan and completely max it out again on something else. So there we go, loan is maxed out. There's one other purchase that I want, and that is the Arcusin Auto Stack. So we'll buy one of those. I'm going to keep the little Quadra pack that we have right now. This little guy, we'll keep hold of that for now, but we may get rid of it in the future. It'll only be worth about 19, 20 grand as it is, so not worth a huge amount of money to us, but we'll keep hold of that for now. So we have everything that we need in terms of equipment, so now it's time to kind of get this going. So I'm going to skip through, and here we go. We want the Massey. We're going to get this guy up and running and start work. So as you can see, we are mowing up and down the field here. We've got a headland put in already just to make things a little bit easier for turning, and also for afterwards when it comes to dealing with this grass, you know, for weeding, for tedding and rowing and so on and so forth. Just to make us a little bit easier on ourselves, we do have that headland there. We've got a worker going up and down the field in the Valtra, as you can see, just applying a second stage of fertilisation to this grass to increase the amount we're going to get. And now it'll just be a nice case of mowing this up and down and then dealing with it afterwards. So let's go ahead and start getting the rest of the equipment that we need over towards our cows. So I'm going to stop the mower here, about halfway along the field, because we want to split this up so we have half straw, well, half hay, and then half silage. So that'll do for the hay side. We're going to just kind of dump everything in with our sheep at the moment, just to get it out of the way. The rest of the field will be attacking once we're done baling with our Krona forage harvester, so that we can chaff that grass, put it in the silage pit, and ferment that. So we've got the Valtra over by the store. There we go. We'll jump in this. We'll start getting everything tedded, and then we'll come back, get the merger, get everything rode up nice and neatly, and then we'll bale and make a load of hay. Get that sort of stacked somewhere near our cows, and after that we'll go grab our Krona forage harvester, our Big X 580. Alright, so I'm going to need the help window for this one, just so I can actually see which side is selected. If there was an easy way you could see that, sort of in cab, or an easy, like a little light or something that let you know which mode was selected outside of the cab, so you didn't have to kind of, you know, have the help window up. I think it usually starts us with a default left, but yeah, work mode left. We're going to change that to center. There we go. So this will just neaten up the row that we've just done, but on top of that, what it'll also do is just pick up the edges of the grass that's on the side there as well. Give us a nice little sort of headland. There we go. And then we'll need to do the same at the bottom. once that's done, we can then sort of just run our merger up and down while we're grabbing our baler. I do love the merger. It's a really, really great little tool. Just don't get the chance to use it very often. So again, that should be enough. So we've got a nice baleable row there. And the rest of that's already pretty good, but we'll just run it over the edge just to tidy it up a touch. There we go. So now, oops, I'm folding it. Don't want to fold it. Don't want to drive on the grass either. There we go, a little bit clumsy there. Now I need to change the work mode to left. Get lined up. Have a little bit of an overhang on the right hand side just in case, because of the way the hay has been pushed out. Now we can start merging. There we go, we have finished our merging. So now we can fold this up. Again, we're going to drop this out of the way by the sheep. Go grab our baler, get all this baled up, and transport those bales over to our cow pasture. Okay, so we'll do the border last. And we'll just make sure that we get the grid up and down first. Alright, so made quite a nice few bales already. Now it's time to deal with these remaining borders on the top and bottom edges. Let's deal with that little clump there first. There we go. Alright, so once these are done, we can bring in our auto stack, Arcusin. Stack all of these bales nice and quickly. There we go, that's it, that's the end of the baling. So let's just eject out that last bale there. There we go. Fold up our baler, and time to once again use our our sheep area as a storage ground while we drop this off and pick up the next piece of equipment. And there we go, there's our first load of bales. So let's get this bolted up, take these over to the cows, drop them off, and come back and pick up this last load there. There we go, that's the last of our hay. So, next up is going to be getting all the grass cut and put into our bunker just there, making up some silage. Once we have a little bit of silage, we'll be able to obviously feed that to our cows. That's going to take a little while to ferment, so we have hay to at least get them started. But I'm going to go back, pick up the Penta trailer with the Big Bud, and then once that's done, we'll bring the Big X 580 up and chaff the grass that's left in that little field. Alright, so we have my header attached. Need to fold the pipe out. We have a headland. It's not quite as big as it would normally be, but it's big enough, I think. So, let's hire a worker. Yeah, there is a worker in there. Good. Now let's run alongside and collect this chaffed grass so that we can turn it into silage. Can I just squeeze through that? The Penta trailer's catching. There we go. Oh, I need to change my cruise control speed. I think it's 9 miles an hour if I remember rightly. Yeah, 9. Well, there we go, there's our first full trailer. So we'll go get this dropped off in our bunker. It's not too far to go, which is handy because we're pretty slow at 19 miles an hour. And then we'll go back, finish off, and then once that's done, we'll get this compacted, squashed down, start it fermenting, and then we'll go buy our cows. We have just enough to be able to buy 50 cows and I think a Lele Juno as well. So we've got literally just enough money to do everything that we need to do. This is the final cut of grass, so we're going to end up with a little under 100,000 litres, which we'll be able to ferment into silage. That's not a bad little amount there, considering we've only really done a little bit under half a field. Obviously we did the rest in hay and did the border in hay as well, so that's quite a nice tidy little amount. That'll certainly make things easier, having a decent stash of silage. We're obviously going to have to add more in there, so we'll continue to keep working that patch over the next couple of days, really sort of build up a nice big dump worth of silage again. We're going to have to store that somewhere else initially, because obviously you can't transfer silage into, well, you can't put chaff in a bunker that has silage in it. So we'll have to use up all of the silage, or at least move the rest of the silage out of the bunker before we can start refilling it. But we've definitely got enough to keep us going for a while here. And we can always do the headland there as well another time. So we've got plenty of grass available for us to use. But for now, let's get this popped in here and condensed down. So while we're doing this, don't forget to check out some of my other stuff. that is available on the channel. Obviously, tomorrow we'll have another episode of American Outback. Friday we'll have some Fent Farm. And City Skylines is running every day this week, and then next week we'll go down to one episode every couple of days. I know we were initially planning on doing that this week, but with the start of a brand new town and city, it just made sense to run it a little bit more frequently this week. And Limbo is currently coming out on the channel as well. We're releasing an episode every day this week. There are 6 parts in total. The second part is already out today. First part came out yesterday, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday will be the remaining parts of that, and then we'll look to try and get Prison Architect back on the channel on Sunday. So I'll get this grass in. We're going to need to turn the help menu back on so we can see our squash level, but we'll get this quickly squashed down and fermented. In fact, actually, we might not bother doing that. We might just continue to fill this off camera. Let's go buy some cows first of all. So where is... There it is. Our legend. We need one more thing. As I said earlier, for our animals, we need a Lely Juno. So we're going to buy one of those. We'll put the beacon on. Let's make that purchase. That we're going to be a little bit cheeky, and we're going to reset, because it's a long way to go for just, you know, a Lely Juno on its own. So let's highlight the store. There it is, and we want to reset that. That'll bring it up to that grass field that we've just cut, and then the only other thing we need to buy is the charging station for it, so that'll get rid of the maintenance costs. So we've got our Legend truck with our animal trailer. We have enough money to buy 50 cows to get us started. So let's start making those trips. Alright, so we want cows. We can only carry 14 at a time, so it's going to be quite a few trips back and forth. But without the trailer, we wouldn't be able to afford 50, because we would have to pay an extra 50 grand in, or an extra 25 grand in delivery charges. So I'm going to go scoot these over to the farm, drop them off, and then we'll give them some hay, and then that'll probably wrap us up for this episode. And there is our first load of cows. So a few more to get. Another 3 trips to make, I think. Maybe even a 4th trip. So we've dropped off 3 full trailers. That's 42 cows. We've got just enough money to buy the last 8. So let's select cows. There we go. Ooh, not too many. There we go. So look at that. We now have just less than $1,000 remaining. That's all we have. But we do actually have a little bit of crop that we can sell once the market picks up, because the prices right now are pretty bland and not very good for any of our crops. So we'll be able to raise a little bit of money. Now we're probably going to incur just as big an expense at the end of the day, if not slightly higher than we did before we started adding these cows in. Their milk money isn't going to make a massive difference this day because it's not a full day for starters. Secondly, we're only going to be giving them hay, so we're not going to be getting the silage mix or the TMR mix bonus or the straw bedding bonus on top of that either. And we have just added in a whole load of new equipment and animals to add to our daily expenses. So we may even lose more than we normally do, and more than we did yesterday at the end of this day, simply because of those additional expenses. But once we get these cows fully sort of stocked up on food, then they will start to make a nice little incision into the amount of debt we're incurring each day. There won't be enough to clear it. We're going to need at least 100 cows for that, but it'll be a good start and it'll help reduce our daily expenses down. So let's get these popped in and then get them fed, watered, and we'll call it a day. Okay, so we have 5 bales of hay. We're very wobbly, as you can see. Let's drop these into the food trough. And they don't want to go. So instead, what we'll do is grab 4 of them, like so, and we'll put them into our Silo King mixer. Don't really use this very much. I use the Kuhn mixer that we had on Farming Sim 15 a fair bit, but I've hardly used this one at all this time out on 17. There we go. So that's the 4 bales in there. Where is the stacker? There it is. Guessing this is our unload point just here. Yes, it is. So it's not ideal giving them just hay, but it's better than giving them nothing at all. That should keep them going for, you know, a couple of days, which is what we need. So now we just need to give them some water, and we'll do the same for our sheep at the same time. So let me just park this up. Let's find the big bud. Where is the big bud? There it is. So let's go get our water trailer. Just top up our sheep and then come and deal with our cows. We're also going to actually need some grass bales as well, so we'll steal some of those from the sheep too. So I've topped up the sheep with their water trough, and I've also refilled the tanker. So now it's just time to fill up our cows. There we go. So now we need to jump back into our telehandler and go grab a stack of bales, of grass bales from our sheep. Bring over here. And that'll be our cows pretty much taken care of then. And those 2 days worth of of hay that they have will give us enough time to harvest the crops that we have, which should be ready to harvest later today if they're not ready already, right now. I don't think they are just yet. Once those are harvested, we can plant some barley, get some straw, then we can make some TMR, put some proper bedding down, and really sort of crank the bonus for those cows, and then we'll obviously do the same again. We'll sell the leftover bales, and hopefully that'll be enough to buy an extra couple of sheep, oh sorry, an extra couple of cows, start boosting their numbers up a little bit more as well. We're going to need to do some more grass baling soon as well. As you can see, we're only down to what, 3 stacks left for our sheep. Well, 2 stacks after the one that we're stealing here. So, yeah, definitely going to need to do some more grass baling pretty soon as well. So plenty of little upcoming tasks, waiting for us on Big Bud Farm. Let's try and just give those a nudge. There we go. Square those up. And we've bought the Juno, so we don't need to worry about that anymore. There's one last thing that we do need, and that's to buy the charging station. Now they're really cheap. I think they're only like 120 bucks, so we can still definitely afford that, even though we have less than £1,000. They are very, very cheap indeed. And we'll put that little charging dock to the side of our food trough, like we did with the sheep, and that'll obviously take care of any maintenance costs that we would normally incur with our Juno. I love that little extra that comes with it. It's really, really useful, because these things are used so much, they just run constantly, that their maintenance costs get really, really high and out of control really quickly. So having one of those charging stations is a real sort of blessing. So how much grass are our cows going to need? Probably not that much. I mean, our sheep take 4 bales per 100 or so. Got 3 in. Will it take a 4th? It will. Wow. Let's have a look. And that's not even close to being full. So yeah, they definitely eat a lot more grass than our sheep do. But there we go. We are pretty much done. Last thing we need to do, as I said, is just buy that charging dock, and I think it's in Placeables, isn't it? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? There we go. Charging station. So let's plonk this down over here. Let's try and zoom in. I'll try and turn this around a little bit. Let's see if I can get this to go straight. It's going to be a little bit tricky. I need to find the right spot for it as well. That should do. So let's go just check our placement on that thing. Yeah, that's pretty good. It looks pretty straight to me as well. So there we go. We are done with another episode of Big Bud Farm. And this one, obviously solely focusing on getting cows up and running. So thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I will catch you back with more Farming Simulator tomorrow.